Imagine waking up tomorrow morning, stepping out of bed, and suddenly realizing that every decision you make, every emotion you feel, and every experience you encounter is being shaped by an invisible force. A force so powerful, yet so subtle, that it's been influencing your entire life without you even knowing it. Sounds like science fiction, doesn't it? But what if I told you this force is real, and it's been shaping your existence from the moment you were born? Think about it. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to effortlessly attract success, while others struggle despite their best efforts? Or why certain individuals can overcome tremendous obstacles, while others remain stuck in cycles of frustration and disappointment? The answer lies in this hidden force, a secret that's been whispered about in ancient wisdom traditions, hinted at in cutting-edge scientific research, and experienced by some of the most successful people in history. But here's the kicker. This force isn't some external entity pulling the strings of your life. It's not fate, luck, or even your genes. It's something far more fascinating and empowering. It's a force that resides within you, waiting to be understood and harnessed. And once you grasp its power, you'll have the key to unlocking your full potential and creating the life you've always dreamed of. Now, you might be thinking, if this force is so powerful, why hasn't anyone told me about it before? The truth is, many have tried. But like the parable of the blind men and the elephant, each person who's encountered this force has only grasped a part of its true nature. Some call it the subconscious mind. Others refer to it as energy or vibration, and still others describe it as the power of belief. But these are all just different facets of the same incredible phenomenon. In this video, we're going to dive deep into the heart of this invisible force. We'll explore how it shapes your reality on a quantum level, influences your brain's very structure, and even affects how your genes express themselves. We'll uncover the hidden connections between ancient wisdom and modern science, revealing how this force has been understood and utilized throughout human history. But we won't stop at theory. By the end of this journey, you'll have practical, actionable techniques to harness this force in your own life. Imagine being able to reprogram your mind for success, attract opportunities like a magnet, and break through the invisible barriers that have been holding you back. That's the power that awaits you. So, are you ready to pull back the curtain on the secret force that's been shaping your existence? The truth is out there, hiding in plain sight. And once you see it, you'll never look at your life the same way again. The nature of the invisible force. Let's start with a simple question. Have you ever walked into a room and instantly felt the vibe? Maybe it was a party where the energy was electric, or perhaps it was a tense business meeting where you could cut the atmosphere with a knife. What you experienced in those moments was a glimpse of the invisible force we're talking about. This force, which we'll call the quantum field of possibility, is the underlying fabric of our reality. It's not just some new age concept, but a phenomenon that's been observed and studied by quantum physicists. Imagine a vast, invisible ocean of energy that permeates everything. Every thought, every emotion, every belief you hold is like a ripple in this ocean, influencing the world around you in subtle yet profound ways. Think of it this way. Your mind is like a broadcasting station, constantly sending out signals into this quantum field. And here's the kicker. This field doesn't distinguish between what you want and what you don't want. It simply responds to the frequency you're emitting. So, if you're constantly focused on lack and limitation, guess what? That's exactly what the field will reflect back to you. But here's where it gets really exciting. Once you understand how this force works, you can start to consciously shape it. You become like a master conductor, orchestrating the symphony of your life. And the best part? You've been doing this all along, just unconsciously. Now imagine what you could achieve when you start doing it with intention and purpose. As we dive deeper into the scientific perspectives and practical applications, keep this image in mind. You're not just a passive observer in the universe. You're an active creator. And that realization is the first step to unlocking the true power of this invisible force. Scientific perspectives. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. This all sounds a bit woo-woo to me. Where's the hard science? Well, buckle up, because we're about to take a wild ride through some of the most mind-bending discoveries in modern physics and biology. Let's start with the famous double-slit experiment. In this groundbreaking study, scientists observed that the mere act of observing particles changed their behavior. Let that sink in for a moment. Your observation, your consciousness, literally affects the physical world around you. This isn't some fringe theory. It's a cornerstone of quantum mechanics. But it doesn't stop there. Have you ever heard of neuroplasticity? It's the brain's ability to rewire itself based on our experiences and thoughts. For years, scientists believed that our brains were fixed after childhood. Now we know that's not true. Your brain is constantly changing, forming new neural pathways based on what you focus on and believe. Here's a fun fact. London taxi drivers, who have to memorize the complex layout of the city's streets, actually develop larger hippocampi, the part of the brain responsible for spatial memory. Your thoughts and experiences are literally shaping your brain's physical structure. And if that wasn't mind-blowing enough, let's talk about epigenetics. We used to think our genes were our destiny. Now we know that environmental factors, including our thoughts and beliefs, can actually turn genes on and off. You're not just a passive recipient of your genetic inheritance. You're actively influencing which genes get expressed. So what does all this mean for you? It means that the thoughts you think, the beliefs you hold, and the way you perceive the world aren't just abstract concepts floating around in your head. They're having a real, measurable impact on your biology and the world around you. As we move into the next section on philosophical and spiritual insights, keep this in mind. Science is catching up to what ancient wisdom traditions have been saying for millennia. The line between the physical and the metaphysical is blurring, and you're at the center of it all. Philosophical and spiritual insights. Now that we've grounded ourselves in science, let's take a journey through time and explore how different cultures and philosophies have understood and harnessed this invisible force. Have you ever heard of the phrase, "as above, so below"? This ancient Hermetic principle suggests that the microcosm, you, reflects the macrocosm, the universe. In other words, the same patterns and laws that govern the cosmos also operate within you. This idea isn't just poetic, it's a profound insight into the nature of reality. Consider the law of attraction, popularized in recent years but rooted in ancient wisdom. It's not just about wishful thinking, it's about aligning your thoughts, emotions, and actions with what you want to manifest. It's a practical application of the quantum field of possibility we discussed earlier. In Eastern philosophies, we find the concept of chi, or prana, life force energy that flows through all things. Practices like Tai Chi and yoga are designed to cultivate and direct this energy. But here's the fascinating part. Modern bioenergetic research is starting to measure and validate these ancient concepts. And let's not forget about karma. Often misunderstood in the West as simple cause and effect, the true concept of karma is much more nuanced. It's about the energy you put out into the world coming back to you. Sound familiar? It's another way of describing the ripples you create in the quantum field. These philosophical and spiritual traditions aren't just abstract concepts. They've been road-tested over thousands of years by millions of people. They offer practical wisdom for navigating life and harnessing the invisible forces that shape our existence. As we move into the next section on psychological factors, I want you to consider this. What if these ancient traditions weren't just primitive attempts to explain the world, but sophisticated systems for understanding and influencing the invisible forces we're exploring? What insights might they offer that we're only now beginning to rediscover? Psychological factors. Now, let's bring things a little closer to home and explore how this invisible force plays out in your day-to-day psychological experience. Have you ever heard of a self-fulfilling prophecy? It's a psychological phenomenon where a prediction or expectation influences the outcome. For example, if you believe you're going to fail an exam, you might unconsciously sabotage your study efforts, leading to the very failure you predicted. But here's the thing. Self-fulfilling prophecies can work in your favor too. When you expect success, you're more likely to take actions that lead to success. This isn't just positive thinking. It's about aligning your thoughts, emotions, and actions with your desired outcome. Let's talk about cognitive biases. These are mental shortcuts our brains use to process information quickly. They can be helpful, but they can also distort our perception of reality. For instance, confirmation bias makes us more likely to notice information that confirms our existing beliefs. This means that two people can look at the same situation and see completely different things based on their pre-existing beliefs. The power of expectation is another crucial factor. Have you ever noticed how your expectations can shape your experiences? If you expect a party to be boring, you're more likely to focus on the dull moments and miss out on potential fun. Your expectations act like a filter, coloring your perception of reality. These psychological factors aren't just interesting quirks of the human mind. They're the mechanisms through which the invisible force we've been discussing operates in your daily life. Your beliefs, expectations, and mental patterns are constantly interacting with the quantum field, shaping your experiences and outcomes. As we move into the next section on social influences, I want you to reflect on this. How might your current beliefs and expectations be shaping your reality? What self-fulfilling prophecies might you be unconsciously creating in your life? And most importantly, how could you start using these psychological principles to your advantage? Social influences. Now let's zoom out and look at how this invisible force operates on a larger scale through social influences. Have you ever stopped to consider how much of what you believe about yourself and the world was shaped by your culture, family, and society? We're all born into a pre-existing set of beliefs and norms that profoundly influence our perception of reality. Think about it. If you were born in ancient Egypt, you'd have a completely different worldview than if you were born in modern-day Tokyo. These cultural lenses shape everything from our values and beliefs to our expectations and behaviors. But here's where it gets really interesting. These social influences aren't just external factors. They become internalized, forming part of our own mental landscape. They shape the ripples we create in the quantum field of possibility. Consider the concept of social conditioning. From a young age, we're taught what's possible and what's not, what's acceptable and what's not. These lessons become deeply ingrained, often operating below the level of conscious awareness. They form the invisible barriers that limit our potential. But here's the exciting part. Once you become aware of these social influences, you can start to question and reshape them. You can consciously choose which beliefs and norms serve you and which ones you want to change. And let's not forget about the power of collective consciousness. Have you ever noticed how ideas can spread like wildfire through a society? Or how being in a crowd can amplify emotions? This is the invisible force operating on a mass scale. As we move into the final section on harnessing this invisible force, I want you to ponder this. How much of what you believe about yourself and what's possible for you is truly yours? And how much is inherited from your social environment? And more importantly, what would change in your life if you started consciously choosing your beliefs and expectations? Harnessing the invisible force. We've journeyed through the nature of this invisible force, explored its scientific basis, delved into ancient wisdom, examined psychological factors, and considered social influences. Now, it's time to bring it all together and learn how to harness this power in your own life. First, let's talk about mindfulness and meditation. These practices aren't just about relaxation. They're powerful tools for becoming aware of your thoughts and beliefs. Remember, You can't change what you're not aware of. By practicing mindfulness, you can start to notice the ripples you're creating in the quantum field and consciously choose more empowering thoughts and beliefs. Visualization and affirmations are another powerful set of tools. When you vividly imagine your desired outcome and affirm positive beliefs, you're literally rewiring your brain and sending out new signals into the quantum field. But here's the key. It's not just about thinking positive thoughts. It's about aligning your thoughts, emotions, and actions with your desired reality. Now, let's talk about reprogramming your subconscious mind. Your subconscious is like the operating system of your life, running programs in the background that shape your experiences. Techniques like hypnosis, emotional freedom technique, EFT, and neuro-linguistic programming, NLP, can help you update these subconscious programs. But perhaps the most powerful technique is simply living with intention. This means being conscious of the energy you're putting out into the world moment by moment. Are your thoughts, words, and actions aligned with what you want to create? Are you focusing on what you want or what you don't want? Here's a practical exercise. For the next week, try living as if the quantum field is responding to your every thought and emotion. Notice how this awareness changes your choices and experiences. As we wrap up, I want to leave you with this thought. You are not a victim of circumstance. You are a powerful creator, constantly shaping your reality through this invisible force. The question is, are you doing it consciously or unconsciously? The choice is yours. Will you continue to let unconscious patterns and societal conditioning shape your life? Or will you step into your power as a conscious creator, harnessing this invisible force to manifest the life you truly desire? Remember, this isn't about ignoring reality or pretending everything is perfect. It's about understanding the deeper mechanisms at play and using that knowledge to create positive change in your life and the world around you. You've always had this power. Now that you're aware of it, what will you do with it? The invisible force of your existence is waiting for your command. The next chapter of your life starts now. What reality will you choose to create? Thank you for joining me on this exploration of the secret, invisible force of your existence. Remember, the power has always been within you. Now that you're aware of it, what wonders will you create? The adventure of conscious creation starts now. Until next time, keep shaping your reality.